Just about 5:45 on your Friday morning, and we're back with a DIY Danielle. She has a project today that anyone can do, and it also makes a great gift for all the parents out there.
How many of us have a wall in our home that is all marked up with the heights of our children as they grow? Well, what happens when you move? You lose that treasure. So today we're going to make a growth chart that's going to look like a giant ruler. Let's get started. I bought a fairly cheap board at a local hardware store for under 10 bucks. It's only about 1 inch thick because I didn't want it to be too heavy to hang, and it's about 6 inches wide. All right, so these boards come standard in 6 foot long. I'm not expecting Ella to get any taller than that, but if you're gonna have a tall child, probably they come in 8 feet as well. If they're gonna be taller than that, then really, I just can't help you. I gave the whole board a light sanding just to smooth out sharp edges or splinters. Then clean it off with a tack cloth. I like to use cheap baby wipes for this. And now it's time for stain. So I'm using a medium tone stain. It's called Provincial. And depending on how dark it makes the wood, that will dictate what color I paint on the numbers. Gloves are necessary, unless you want stained hands. I used an old rag to rub the stain on the wood. Make sure you apply it in the direction of the wood grain. Well, I'm liking that color. After the stain dries, take a tape measure and stretch it out across the board. I marked each foot and the 3 inch and 6 inch marks. Make sure you let the stain dry though. I tried to rush this process to paint on my marks, and the painter's tape didn't stick very well. But that's how I got clean lines for each measurement mark. I'm using acrylic paint in a plain white. So now it's time to use our cheap plastic stencils for the numbers, and I'm just gonna lay this down. And the most important thing when you're stenciling is to stipple the paint rather than do brush strokes. If you do brush strokes, the paint is going to get underneath the stencil. And here is where you can learn from my mistake. Make sure you paint the 1 at the bottom of your ruler. Because I had it laying on the sawhorse, I didn't realize I was painting the numbers upside down. Fortunately, I had the other side of the board to flip it over and paint it correctly. Then I just attached some hanging brackets on the back, and voila! When your kids are old enough, let them write their own name at each height so you can also see how their handwriting changes as they get older. Danielle Tedesco, KOB4.